Hi guys, and welcome to another video on the wrestling review. And this is your night of champions mini review. But before we get into it, guys, obviously, as you can see, there's change of venue for a change. So yeah, I'm not in my room, but I'm not in my room, but uh, get off. But everything is okay. So I actually thought that this Saudi show. I actually thought that this Saudi show in the night of champions 2025 was one of the best or offerings from Saudi. Now you all know, oh, Master and Son, Saudi Arabia, etc. But um, but that doesn't come into that. That show is a really, really good off, and it's probably one of the longer pay-per-views that this year it will released into terms of shows and pay-per-view because 2025's been a bit of a weak or year in comparison to the past 3 years of WWE content, and then this one was the best for shows. So we start off for this whole Cody Rhodes and Orlando Orton doing two in the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. Obviously, the winner gets a title shot at SummerSlam. Um, and obviously the two major title matches are now set for SummerSlam. Um, um, so, so this is a really good match. Obviously a lot of psychology, Orton's surgically repaired back, he meant to play a number of times, etc. This is a real old school type match. You saw that Rhodes is incorporating a lot more psychology to kind of um implement that into the match. A lot of people said at the end of the match that they felt Orton was going to heel. I'm going to explain why they were a bit naive about that in a minute. But um, but in any case, this match is a decent one. Um, a few years for alls in year 19 minutes and 45 seconds, a suitable time for an opener. Um, Obviously, there's a bit where Orton is getting bringing in chairs and taking off the turnbuckle, um, etc. in order to get the win because his back was being 'cause his back was constantly being over. So once eventually get still and by shoving Orton and it exposed a cool um of this whole ribs for Austin and then catches him and he's uh, and he's and his second offer of them, or once I can't remember which, it catches him over on to Rosary and Cody Rhodes as the king of the and he goes on to challenge again for the WWE Championship. Now the seed are actually his son for a road. He'll turn. There was a lot of circle in as people were distracted by Orton's desperation, but in actual fact, um, in actual fact, because of the way Cody had conducted his style in this match, I think it plants the seed for a double come that summer. So um see my predictions video on that, but we'll touch on it again when we talk about the main event because obviously that will have implications. But yeah, I thought it was a decent opening. A decent opening to the a decent opening to the show and the right another in my opinion because they're obviously telling and are obviously telling a long term booking story approach here to some of these stories and yeah, the right person won in my opinion. The next match is obviously a rare oh, versus the Kelder the Kelder Rodriguez. Now the Kelder Rodriguez actually looked pretty good and this matchup here where they obviously get a video package documenting the history of the two of um and of friendship dating back to NXT. They talked about the action arena tattoos. They spoke about how they were there for each other down in NXT during the second half of the Black and Gold era of NXT. And yeah, I felt it was a really produced a deal package. But I stand with the previous weeks of it and etc. That's one thing I can always give the WWE credit for as a video hype packages for the matches because of the mask or so of it. And yeah, that's one thing you can ever fault them on. But the match of Arthur, or it was really creative of some of the spots in this match. You had Rhea or Ripley, who did and serve pull off and put it in the barrack. To put the Coleridge already is kind of powerful or or you had uh, you had a good few. You had a good few. You had a good few. Your falls in the match. You had um you had then a feelings of Judgment Day, April, Ospec, or Oxan, Perez, and them she interfered. Um, obviously, obviously, for Rhea to get rid of Rock's, she uses a trash can after, or the trash can spot is very creative, but how she gets the and is able is set up on the top um on the top rope, kind of like a sort of platform, and she gives like the riptide off for that, and it was amazing how Rhea kept her balance, because that looked looked as though it could be a dangerous spot. He here, but all credit to both for actually doing that. O- and obviously that I do it's an even cool or move than it already is, as when it's hit from the top rope, and this was a variation of that. This match is excellent, a lot of innovative and creative spots, and yeah, it was probably one of the best or street fights you'll see under a PG or rating. I really enjoyed it. Obviously as well, the right person actually won, because you're trying to tell a story about how all what that's been with the introduction of Rock Sanpares into the Judgment Day opposed, but also as well, you kind of want Rhea to get our momentum back, as Rhea is one of the top stars in the company, and she's one of my favourites from a character standpoint. And so yeah, there's that to consider as well. The match, and the match was really good, very creative, and aces, um, and the and the time for it was just about right for 14 and it marked just about right, to be honest with you. Um, and and I enjoyed that match. The next match on the card is Sami Zayn versus Arian Cross. Now I like both for almost as you know Sammy Zayn's been one of my favourites since the lockdown era. I think the guy is really talented and really entertaining. You saw different facets of him during the Waddle ein storyline which is out of this has inclusion into that storyline as well. One of the best storylines that company has ever produced. But yeah, and now on to Carrying Cross. Now Carrying Cross is a guy that Carrying Cross is a guy that I've advocated for on social media for the past 3 years, in particularly since he came back to the WWE in 2022 um, on Triple H's um, under Triple H's leadership, and yeah, and I've been a fan of this since his Impact Wrestling is and his Lucha Underground days as well. I think him and Scarlett are a fantastic Erin, their husband and wife in real life, as you know, and the two of them are very remarkable. It just needs a bit of momentum behind him, and as I've said before, I don't know why I don't know why he's been the he has, but yeah, he's very talented, and that's my actually as though there's only going to be one winner because of the way they have been booking Karen Cross, but I thought it was a decent, I thought it was a decent match. To be honest, if you again the perfect end for time, but I kind of wanted carrying Cross to get the here, even though I knew Sammy was only go over, and then that's not me disrespecting Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn as a performer and as a wrestler, but I also like carrying crosses well, and I thought, come on, this is a talented guy. You need to do something with this guy, and I thought that this would have been the perfect opportunity. And Karrion Cross had and Karrion Cross had the a majority of the offense here. Um, I I nearly took it to, as I nearly took it to Sami Zayn, here in this match. Obviously, the finish of the match is, as obviously Ross goes to charge, Sami in the corner. He does it 4 times often, and Sammy comes back and he hits a whole over kick and gets the win. I, I don't actually, I don't actually, and as figured as funny is to be, or you see, Ross on canvas, oh, even more of amazing because he says um as he says here a couple of times, and I don't think that this is over. Um so potentially he can still tell a bit of a story with the us, and I just hope as well they can I just hope as well that he can get behind um Aaron Cross here because Ross is a guy that can make money if he's very talented. The next match on the card is Jacob Putt over versus Soul Osakawa for the United Championship, and this match I was kind of annoyed by when I was tuning in, but the more I sat and I thought about it, I can see why the call is made. Now, this match is actually not a bad match. I thought Solo actually gave a good account of himself. Jacob Fatu, you know what you're going to get with Fatu. You're going to get a higher and sort of but and the guys just and the guys just cool to be honest. So yeah, I thought the match itself was decent. Again, a decent amount of and air falls. The timing to the match was perfect. Again here and yeah, uh, and then we saw the reintroduction of Onga War, and we saw the debut of Hakel Io for Japan. So the two Tonkin were the two Tonkin were lost Tonga Io and Hakel Io kind of reformation with so and Hakel Io costs um cost far to the US type. Oh no, now I think when Omatonga comes back into the fold, that'll be so wasn't Snoop faction. You've got Jacob Cobb, same as Eo, you've got Jacob Cobb, same as Eo, and then here is AB, AB Army is in, and then the Usos all come back and have a civil war or the so was or and they can maybe have Jacob at fight alongside so a civil so a potential for another civil film war is happening, but um but 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 um but I think it'll I think I I think as well, the issue's not over for Jake, uh, and the issue's not all over if Jacob and so for the US belt, maybe Jacob will in it back at SummerSlam, and for the rest of the year you can kind of focus on on the civil war aspect of this. But yeah, I thought all it was a decent match, and I was initially annoyed by the finish of it, but it kind of made sense. Obviously, it kind of keeps Drake up in a strong capacity, but also uh, um um or it also served its purpose and it made a kill you kill a calf or and and then yeah I felt it was a decent enough match obviously this is Jacob's first pinfall defeat and I think he'll be absolutely fine because he's been booked like a dream so far. And yeah, I felt it was a decent match. Sometimes my matches take a bit of time for me to process the decision and kind of calm down and take a step back. And this was one of these. So yeah, perfect to acceptable choice here. I can kind of I see some potential in terms of storyline, and it's not a stupid decision. So it'll be interesting. So it'll be interesting to see where that it ends up. So the next match on the card is Jake Cargill versus Asuka for the in the ring finals. Obviously, the Anna challenges the women's champion of the year respect of Rand. And obviously as well that this match is considered a softer than any of the other matches on the card. And yeah, so I had no problem with that at all. Um, as this match was designed to make Jade Cargill more credible, and yeah, it served its purpose. Jade did really good here. Obviously there was issues for the fun, and the funny. should the match she gets asked up for Jade and um I, I think she wanted off until on a re-injured obviously she she's back for Jade for the pin after her Jade and like it's a hyper or extension almost because she's hobbling after the match but then she kind of cuts um and she kind of cuts a promo similar of road at the start of the um at the start of the show autism match, but husband is a bit more inspirational. Don't let them tell you no. Always is the is the just the promo. I'll be interested to see if the injuries if the injuries kind of know a jet because because that and look a bit off, off but other than I felt I felt Jade to look pretty good in this match. And all credit and all credit Asuka for helping to uh, for helping to get her over. Obviously, AJ Cargill actually took X and Schaefer and asked um for the match. She said it was a dream match to go up against us and it was a really nice, it was a really nice moment to read that. Now, I know lot of people are very hot and cold on Jade Cargill, but I personally like her. She's very marketable. She's got that intensity about Orange looks a legit bad ass to be honest. And yeah that and yeah this match is pretty much how I wanted it. Yeah, kind of want to see how Jade Cargill handles herself on her own as a performer because she's kind of been done with a beer anchor belt here, or as I call her, Warren behind. Uh, she's kind of in done with him and with a foreign now only for the better part of a 10 or so far. And I'm kind of interested to see how this figures out. Um, but often in terms of her position in the company, but also um, also in terms of storyline and narrative and issues surrounding that. Because obviously you've got Naomi on in the bank in the background, and I think there could be possibility if or a cash in at SummerSlam. 'Cause I can see because I can see Jade eating rotten for the bell and having Iomi cash in on card. Oh, because that's the way it's going, because that's been kind of one of the feuds that has been a constant for 2020 and if I've and for the are part of 2020 also the as so that as has a bit you genuinely but yeah, I thought all it was the correct decision, both in terms of duration and the right person actually, and the right person actually on here, and yeah, so no issue after as at all, and then the in event on see in a um and in the main event John Cena eats CM Punk by and fall to keep the WWE Championship. Now this match is awesome and the promo exchanges or leading up to the match with Ina's Pipe on CM Punk's stealing um um stealing the iconic basics again on its entrance and promo style. I thought was superb, but the match itself I thought was I felt it was I felt it was the perfect end into the show. You had one of the most over rivalries in the past, to the uh, it's come ahead. And the match itself, I thought was really good. You have the perfect opponent for Cena at this stage in the game, because obviously it's his retirement tour, etc. And then the chemistry here, you had you had them, uh, you had them, you had them snacking for it about hitting CM Punk of the championship. You had CM Punk having John Cena dead or eight in the middle of the ring, um, but the ref get on and as Punk and as Punk calls for another ref. Out comes Heyman's crew until we're on break or and Bronson Reed and obviously except for all and now all in attempts to cash in um um Shani's on in the back and can and um uh, um but obviously um but obviously oh, but or he's got an attempt. He sends in for a recurrent for concentrate to where the animation unk and and more all comes in and he's about to shin or everybody Charles Robinson comes in but he gets annihilated by John Cena and then he and Orica are coming their attentions to John Cena as it attempts as in the army with here Penta and Sami Zayn come down and they have had issues of Heyman's faction, so there's a lot of rolling on the outside of the rings. The end was bad till he beaten up by Bray Carpenter. Hits a dive onto Bridge. Also, just allowed here. Eventually, we are on. It's up to it's it's up it's and John Cena actually to actually take out Heyman's action. Obviously, obviously they do that. Cena and Punk shake hands in the hug, but as these iconic look similar to the look you get absolute elimination chamber of it is you see natural eyes obviously you see natural eyes the wall obviously see natural eyes the wall oh, oh, and that's and that's when um and that's when the uns or the come because about yours and yeah and and he said match is for all and sort of and so and see um even John Cena to pick up the scraps and retain the L and overall guys I it was a pretty good show. I felt some of the matches you knew you knew the out you knew the out but it's the journey to get the end of the matches and I enjoyed, so I'll give the us an 8 out of a possible 10. And yeah, and can give actually since WWE actually put on a decent Saudi Arabia show, even although they don't deserve it, but that's by the by. I enjoyed I enjoyed the show, and yeah, epic main event, and here's to the next pay per view, which is obviously it is the Revolution. So let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed the show, and if you do like see an evolution or of the next one, and obviously may know all your thoughts in the main event. So remember, guys, to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.